why are you an African king? You don't live in Africa. You don't breed in Africa. You don't even train in Africa. So why? I'm a problem. I'm a problem. Don't sleep on Kamaru Usman. Hey fight fans, it's another episode of UFC predictions, my favorite sport. And guess what? Our very own Nigerian Nightmare, Kamaru Usman, is going to be taking on South Africa's very own Dricus Plessis. Guys, Kamaru is moving up a weight class. Yes, most of us might say he's the welterweight king. But guess what? He just had a close fight against Khamzat Chimaev. And guys, most people thought Kamaru, in fact, I thought Kamaru won that fight. But Khamzat is undefeated and they didn't want to take his winning streak. So on this card, some fights were cancelled. We were supposed to get Kevin Holland versus Jacoby Smith, but it was cancelled. That would have been a good fight. Everyone loves a Kevin Holland scrap because he talks all through the fight. Amanda Ribas versus Fatima Clean was also cancelled. We don't know why. I'm kind of sad Amanda Ribas is not fighting because who doesn't love Amanda Ribas? So I'm going to be going through 4 very good fights. So stay tuned, guys. So first off, Tabitha Ricci is going to be taking on Fatima Klein. That fight is actually going to be a very tough fight. But Fatima Klein, I don't really know her that much, but apparently she has only lost 1 fight in her MMA professional career. But Tabitha Ricci is also a very, very good fighter, but she has lost 4. So in as much as Tabitha has lost more fights than Fatima, I still feel like Tabitha Ricci is going to win that fight and definitely is not going to end in a decision. That fight is going to end in like someone being KO'd or submitted. So I would go with Tabitha Ricci as the winner. The second one is Chase Hooper versus Mitch Ramirez. Chase Hooper has actually been good in the UFC. Yes, he has lost 5 bouts. Ramirez has lost only 3. But guys, Chase Hooper is definitely going to win that fight. And guys, this one is definitely going to be a knockout. Chase Hooper has good hands. I used to like him when he looked like Mark Zuckerberg, when he had the whole curly hair. But right now he's serious. He cut his hair. He means business. So I feel like Chase Hooper is going to win this fight by knockout. I don't see this fight going to a decision. If it goes to a decision, then maybe Ramirez was able to hold on. Then we have our very own killer gorilla, Gerard Cannonier is taking on Christian Leroy Duncan. When Killer Gorilla fought Israel Adesanya, I think that's the most nervous I've ever been in a fight, because Gerard Cannonier is no slouch. Gerard Cannonier is he's a heavy puncher. He's a favorite. But Chris Duncan is very, 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 very strong. Not just strong, and he's very technical. Because I've watched Chris Duncan, I've watched some of his fights, and the way he, picks apart his opponents to win, there's definitely no way that fight goes to decision. Yes, Cannonier is at a point in his career where he's like a journeyman. He hasn't won a fight. He hasn't won a fight in like his last 2 or 3 bouts. So I feel like Cannonier would come out strong in the first round. But if Duncan maintains his time and does what he does best, which is pick his opponents apart, Duncan is going to actually win Cannonier. And guys, like I said earlier, that fight is not going to end in a decision. It's going to end in someone being knocked out. So guys, my pick for that bout, Gerard Cannonier versus Leroy Duncan. I think Duncan is going to win by knockout or TKO. Now this brings me to the main event. There's a little bit of history between Kamaru Usman and Dricus Plessis. I remember when Kamaru Usman, Ngannou, and Israel Adesanya, they were all called the 3 kings. The 3 kings of Africa. And Dricus Plessis mentioned something. He said, why are they called the 3 kings of Africa? Especially Israel and Kamaru Usman. He said, they don't even live in Africa. They don't train in Africa. So why are they called King of Africa? He should be called King of Africa because he lives in Africa. He breathes African air. He trains in Africa. So why are they called the African kings when they don't even reside in Africa? And it was kind of a big thing at that time. Kamaru didn't like that statement. Israel Adesanya was very, very hurt by that statement, which led into a fight, and Israel Adesanya lost the fight. So now For Kamaru Usman, do we think Kamaru Usman is going to take revenge for his fellow African brother Israel Adesanya? Well, I don't think it is that personal, but I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on Kamaru Usman. And there's this misconception about Kamaru Usman's knee. Every single move he makes, if he dances, they say, oh, his knee is gone. Every single time. What if Kamaru Usman is actually making everyone think that way to have a slight advantage in the fight? Because his last fight against Buckley, he dominated Buckley for 5 rounds. Dricus Plessis has never had a good fight whenever he faces a wrestler, and Kamaru Usman is a collegiate wrestler. He has wrestled all his life. So what if Kamaru Usman goes there and decides to wrestle takedowns after takedowns? And also, when I saw the size of Kamaru Usman, is actually big. In fact, Kamaru Usman weighed more than Dricus. Dricus weighed 185 and a half. Kamaru Usman weighed 186. And Kamaru Usman looked full and big. So I don't think there's actually too much difference in the weights. Yes, Dricus is slightly taller, but I don't think Usman is small for middleweight. We've seen smaller middleweights. Buckley fought in middleweight. So we've seen smaller middleweights, guys. So I feel like for that fight, a lot of people are sleeping on Kamaru. Yes, Kamaru lost to Leon Edwards twice. He lost to Chimaev in a close fight, which I felt Kamaru won. Same as Dricus. Dricus just came off a fight where he lost to Khamzat Chimaev. So at the end of the day, Khamzat Chimaev fought with both Kamaru Usman and Dricus and won both of them. So both of them fighting now. I feel like this is a #1 contender fight. Whoever wins this fight gets the next title shot. I don't think this fight is going to end up in a knockout. But if you ask me who's going to get their hands raised at the end of this fight, I think Kamaru Usman. Dricus Plessis, yes, Dricus Plessis is a very good fighter. He has an awkward style that, he finds a way to win the fight. But I feel like Kamaru Usman is a different beast. Like he would say, I'm a problem. It's gonna be a close fight, but I feel like Kamaru Usman's wrestling would be the edge he has. Dricus said he took this fight because he wanted to show how much he has evolved since his fight with Chimaev, because he was dominated for 5 rounds. Imagine, Chimaev beat him for 5 rounds. Dricus, who was the champion at the time, did not win any round. So I feel like Kamaru Usman is the next best thing, because Kamaru Usman had a very close fight with Chimaev, and he feels like, I'll fight Kamaru. And come on, Kamaru is a welterweight king. 5 title defenses. So my pick for the main event, the Nigerian Nightmare, Kamaru Usman. So guys, those are my picks for UFC OKC. Stay tuned. As you guys know, I'm always going to give my reaction after the fight. See you guys later.